At this point, I just don't think there's any way around it. You have to say it like this. The DOJ has been compromised. Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and likely Deputy Director Dan Bongino can't be trusted anymore. They've done a complete 180 on everything that they said prior to getting the positions that they're in now, and everything's looking extremely suspicious. I'm going to cover it all right now on American Advocates. This is infuriating. This was an Axios article released last night. Exclusive. DOJ, FBI conclude Epstein had no client list. And it goes on to say immediately in the article, President Trump's Justice Department and FBI have concluded they have no evidence that convicted offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client list, or was murdered. And to that, I just gotta say, what the hell happened to Kash Patel and Dan Bongino? These guys were adamant that there was so much that they were going to uncover when they got into this position with the FBI, that they were going to be releasing everything. Take a look at what Kash Patel was saying just months ago.
With me on this issue, so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings.
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past and how we are going to countermand missing children and exploited children going forward.
Thank you.
I mean, that was Kash Patel just not too long ago. I have even more footage. Take a look at some of this. This is how Kash Patel was last year and even just a few months ago.
I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build this international human trafficking, sex trafficking ring. Now, earlier I urged then Chairman Durbin to subpoena those records, and I ended up being blocked by Senator Durbin and Christopher Wray. They stonewalled on this, and I know that breaking up these trafficking rings is important to President Trump. So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past and how we are going to countermand missing children and exploited children going forward.
Just take a listen to how he's talking there. He's not speaking as if he's going to find out what was going on. He's not talking as if he's got a mystery to unravel. He is most certain in this moment of what Jeffrey Epstein was doing, just like the rest of the American public were. He is most certain that Jeffrey Epstein was guilty of having a client list, of doing what he was doing with minors, of doing what he was doing on the island, all of it. He's certain there.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
Direct control of the FBI. Epstein's Black Book. The list. He's literally saying it right here. This is before Trump nominated him as director of the FBI, mind you. This is long before that. And he's just casually having an interview announcing such things. So in this interview right here, he freely admits that he himself now, in the position that he's in, has the Black Book that Epstein carried around.
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word, or whoever that guy is, as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Exactly, Kash Patel. Put on the big boy pants and let us know who all these names are. We, the people, want to know. You seemed so sure that there was a list here. On the Benny Johnson show, you were even naming people like Bill Gates and calling out Republicans and, of course, Democrats. The Democrats had the Epstein files for, 4.5 years and did absolutely nothing with it. Republicans didn't help either. So what the hell is going on now? We go from that kind of a Kash Patel who's fired up about it, telling you he knows for certain that there's a list, there's names on it, that he's going to release it if he gets into the position, to now we had this recent exchange with Senator John Kennedy where I remember starting to get a bad feeling about the Epstein List, the FBI, and Kash Patel. Take a listen.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Kash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant.
Right there, I remember thinking, yikes, this is not looking good. He's already backtracking on certain things. He was so convinced that Epstein was absolutely murdered in his cell. Right there, he was saying, no, actually he did. Yeah, he hung himself, definitely. I didn't believe it then. I don't believe it now. And of course, I figured, you know what? He's going to start backsliding even more, isn't he? And unfortunately, my feeling was correct. But it's important to note there in that hearing with Senator John Kennedy, who's one of the good guys, he's still talking in a very plain matter of a fact language that there is a list, that they do have it, and that they will be releasing it, but that they had to comb through it. It's not like they've been saying all along, well, we can't find the list. We don't know where the list is. We're going to try to find it. The Democrats may have destroyed it when they had control over this stuff and had control over the FBI. No, that's not what they're saying at all. And Pam Bondi even said the same thing. Remember what she said here?
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed.
It's sitting on my desk. Famous last words from Attorney General Pam Bondi. They were there, so were the JFK files and the MLK files, apparently. And guess what? The Trump DOJ did a great job getting the JFK files out very quickly. But with the Epstein files, boy, oh boy, did they take a long time with this, only for it to be a giant nothing burger where they said, whoopsie, none of that stuff existed. I'm not buying it. And Pam Bondi also, just like Kash Patel, after this interview, wound up backpedaling as well.
Yeah, the FBI, they're reviewing. There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that.
The FBI is diligently going through the list to protect the names of the victims before we release it. This is what she was saying. Kash Patel was pretty much saying the same thing at the same time. It's a semi-reasonable statement to make, by the way. I don't think anybody out there in the world would want the names of the victims being made public. However, it's all been a shroud. And a part of me always felt this way, and I didn't want to think that way at the time because the way she says it is honorable. We need to protect the victims. Okay, fine, that's fair enough. But yes, this is all that it was a stalling tactic, a shroud. Now we're getting none of it. They've completely backpedaled on all of this. Epstein did hang himself. There is no client list. Turns out the premises wasn't audio or video surveilled, and or it was, but wow, there's nobody on the videos. There's no audio recordings of anything incriminating for anybody still alive. It was all just Jeffrey Epstein. He wasn't human trafficking minors. He wasn't doing any of this stuff. To that which I would say, if that's the case, this is the official justice.gov statement on Ghislaine Maxwell and what she was sentenced for. Conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal you-know-what acts, conspiracy to transport minors to participate in illegal you-know-what acts, transporting a minor to participate in illegal you-know-what acts, you-know-what trafficking conspiracy, and trafficking of a minor. And so if there is no Epstein client list and there's no audio or video surveillance incriminating anybody and it was all just Jeffrey and he hung himself and that's the end of the story, then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison for 20 years? To Pam Bondi, to Kash Patel, to the DOJ and the FBI, I would have to say at that point, free Ghislaine Maxwell, right? What's she in there for? There's no evidence. Clearly this was a witch hunt and they threw her in there unjustly. And of course, that's just me playing devil's advocate because I don't believe in any of this nonsense. I believe she deserves all 20 of those years and more. She should be in there for life. But I also now believe that Kash Patel is compromised. Pam Bondi is compromised. Likely Dan Bongino is compromised as well. These guys know stuff now, and they're not putting it out. They've completely backpedaled. It's distasteful. It's disgusting. It's cowardly. And it's the most upsetting thing to happen this year under the Trump administration. But what are your thoughts and opinions? Let the conspiracies fly at this point. They deserve it. Give them hell if you're on X. Go on all social media sites and at them, at Kash Patel, at Pam Bondi. Demand the truth, because this is unacceptable. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to American Advocates for more.